What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the WichitaPromo podcast with your host, EKM. Today, I'm up here at Majesties Bar and Grill, and I got another special guest with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
What's up, Penthouse Nero? Fed paper, baby, top flow. We here. We in this thing. It's a blessing. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. Man, so we just going to get straight into it. First off, tell me how you got tapped in with Majesties, because we fresh off of a show up here. And, man, me personally, I've done probably more than 50 shows here in Wichita as EKM. I be popping out all the time. That was one of my favorite shows I ever did, bro. The vibe up here was real nice, man. So how did you get tapped in up here?
So really, man, it's low key on an accident. I had just quit working for a local business, and I seen a post that they made. They were looking for security, and so I asked if it was going to be a one-time thing or a regular job. They told me it would be a job. I came the next day, did my interview, and man, we've been locked in ever since. The people up here are like family to me. You know what I'm saying? A job is a job. So you have your days where you don't like it. You have your days you do. But when I come in and I see the people here, it always makes, so that atmosphere that you guys felt that night, that's our everyday. You know what I'm saying? That's our everyday up here.
Yeah. Man, I could tell from the moment I walked in, I'm always I knew that you were a solid dude. So when you asked if I wanted to be on the show, there was no hesitation. But every time I walk into a show in Wichita, there's that little piece of me that's looking around like, okay, how's the security? Who all in here? All that type of shit. Y'all handled everything perfect. Like, that night went real well. As soon as I walked in, the security guard was real professional, did his thing, real respectful. I walked in, everybody vibing, everybody having a good time, bartenders doing their thing. I was like, okay, man, they really doing this. They did this the right way.
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
And that's so another thing about it is just like I said, that's our everyday. Usually that might be me out there checking your ID and patting you down, but nah, man, I'm glad the atmosphere is the way it is. I'm glad all the artists was able to come and really enjoy themselves. None of the artists were standoffish, this guy over here. It's nah, everybody was together, and that night was an incredible night. I don't care about no show that I've done before, and no matter how many shows I do after, that's always going to be a special night for me. Just being that I was able to put that together, that was major.
Yeah, man, that show was crazy. That was we complain a lot in Wichita about artists not vibing out and tuning in with each other while they performing too. That was one of them ones where every set everybody was dancing, having a good time. That shit was real cool. But man, let's talk about how you got into music, because I know you was doing it at a young age. I read that you started at 16.
So actually younger than that.
Okay.
When I was 2. I had a love for music. I used to ride around. We lived in a duplex up east.
Yeah.
And I used to ride around every morning on my tricycle, listening to Scarface, Money in the Power. So Scarface and Crisscross were my introductions into rap.
Yeah.
My dad's Motown records, played a big part.
Yeah.
My mom taught me how to write, and as soon as I learned how to write, I was writing music. So I've been writing music all my life. My first, I guess you would call it, break came when I was about 14. There was some older guys that were putting together a group. They were called Full Blown Click. So that was my first real introduction in going to the studio, laying things down, learning that studio etiquette. And then after that, me and my cousin Big Cliff, we teamed up and we started to drop the Money by Any Means mixtapes. I brought So Unique along with us. Me and So Unique had a relationship of our own. I introduced him to my cousin. And shortly after that, we formed S Corp.
Yeah.
And man, we started, having songs on the radio, creating a buzz around town. Unfortunately, neither one of those guys are here with us anymore. And I went and did 12 in the Fed, so I lost a lot of momentum as far as career wise. But music's always been just my first love, before any and everything.
Yeah. Man, I want to speak on that a little bit. Doing 12 years, I liked. I think on the second episode I ever did of this podcast was with Maj True, Free Maj True. He locked up right now. And we had talked about the first time he went to prison and how it changed his mindset, how it changed him as an artist too. Because you ain't got shit to do when you locked up. So he was talking about, yeah, man, it sharpened my pen. I was in there reading and writing every day. How do you think that 12 years changed you first as an artist, but then just like as a man too?
That's very good because my experience with it was different.
Yeah.
A lot of people do go in and their pen game becomes stronger because they're constantly writing.
Yeah.
I wasn't really focused on music in there. It's something that fell wayside, even though it was still something I love. Like I was still loving to listen like to new music that was coming out, anything like that. But I would go through phases where I would write, but there would be these long gaps in between where I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes despair got the best of me, and I felt like I would never get out, and I would literally take all my music and throw that shit away. I did it like 2 or 3 times, and I used to have people tell me like you're crazy.
Yeah.
But as an artist, I think it really just kind of made me like focus more in on that emotion of what I'm feeling and what I'm trying to get across as my message.
Yeah.
And then as a person, man, it definitely made me better because I actually had to grow up in the feds. I was 21 when I was indicted. I was 22 when I hit my first yard, which was Florence, Colorado, which is a USP, a max in the feds. And I didn't realize how violent and dangerous it was until I went to another yard. But I grew up in the feds from the age of 21 to the age of 34. I took some classes that helped me deal with my cognitive issues. So I see things a lot better. I'm more rational. I can hold conversations with damn near anybody. And that just comes from networking with so many different people from, the feds got people from all across the U.S. and it got people, I met dudes from Colombia, dudes from Mexico, St. Honduras, wherever. So there's, my skills when it comes to being able to talk to somebody is definitely, on point.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Man, I feel like coming out after 12 years and getting back to just the regular world, obviously it's got to be like a big shock. But then also doing that, and then I know you got kids. You just had a son pretty recently. That's got to like put a different type of motivation and drive to you, not just within the music, but everything, just to like go as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming home, I definitely like was locked in and focused. And it's funny because during the time, I literally got out and within a day, man, I felt like I never left, but it definitely was starting over from square one. I didn't have anything coming home except for motivation and ambition.
Yeah.
And I just used that to my advantage. Every day, I'm grinding, I'm manifesting, I'm putting the work in, I'm putting the effort in. I watch guys like you. I watch guys like Humble Greatness, man. I watch guys who are, taking that initiative to do something and be different and be, not necessarily just stand out, but, be an actual inspiration for local artists. And that's, exactly what I want to do is be an inspiration for the young, the young guy who's on that verge of either gang banging and getting into the streets or becoming a businessman.
Yeah.
So let me show you, like, a lot of us, we get confused and think that we have to go through the street shit in order to actually be somebody, and you don't.
Yeah.
We trick ourselves off all the time. And with me having my son now, I'm even more motivated just to be that example for him, show him like, man, what a man is essentially. That's my job as his father, show him what a man is. And so, every day I take it on the chin, my wins, my losses, no matter what it is, it's an experience for me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. Man, let's talk about the music a little bit. I know in January you dropped the EP to preprint. We'll talk about that, and I want to talk about Top Floor Chronicles too, because they're both pretty recent.
Yes, sir.
What was the process like, first of all, in the EP, the preprint? Like, how did you put that together? What made you drop that? It's 5 tracks.
So it actually, in January, I wanted to drop Top Floor Chronicles.
Yeah.
My schedule didn't permit me to be done with the recording.
Okay. Yeah.
So I actually took 5 songs that I had that I want to say Believe in Me and Current Events were probably 4, Top Floor Chronicles 1, and I put those on there. And I dropped it. I called it the preprint because it's the prequel to the Chronicles. So I just put that on there. I only dropped the 1 video for it. It had production from my homie Will Wonka. He did Current Events. Ivy, who used to be the in-house producer over at Parallel, did Believe in Me. And 4 Times the Genius did Get 'Em Up. and then the other 2 songs were produced by me. So it was just a nice little collection I put together real quick, and it was the kickoff for the year, so I could turn around and drop Top Floor Chronicles.
Yeah. What was the process like in actually putting together Top Floor Chronicles? Because you got the features on there, we got the No Sleep on there together, crazy song. What was the songwriting and recording process like? Because a lot of your lyrics too is like real life shit. I can tell that you actually put your all into it. It can be very like vulnerable and shit like that, which I think is a good thing. What's your writing process like? Because I'm just now kind of getting to the point where I'm starting to get like vulnerable and talk about my life a little more in my music, because people been telling me for the longest that I needed to. People hear like the old songs, like the All the Smokes and the Players, and I love those songs. But those were just me having fun. I was talking shit with my homies and shit. But people started telling me I needed to get more personal, and I started getting more personal and talking about the the negative side of those things I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
All of a sudden people don't like it no more. They're like, oh, this song's sad, this song negative, this song this and that. But I feel like that's kind of important, because it shows people that everything ain't glorified, everything ain't great in this shit. So I think it's important that people see that.
As an artist, you definitely have to tap into that vulnerability. I feel like as a hip hop artist, you have to. And one of my favorite guys to look at was 50 Cent growing up. And I feel like that's kind of where he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Is he never, outside of Many Men, he didn't give you that vulnerable.
Shit.
He didn't want to do it because he felt like you couldn't be vulnerable in rap. And I'm like, that's the total opposite. If you look at Tupac, Tupac gave you every emotion.
Yeah.
And that's what made people so relatable to him. He gave you every emotion. So when you're doing All the Smoke and you're doing Player, like, there's going to be that crowd that really enjoys those. Yeah. But there's somebody in that crowd that is really going to like latch on when you give them that vulnerable shit. So my writing process, honestly, is so different because, like I said, I've been writing all my life. And then when I was 16, I seen a documentary where they talked about how Big and Jay didn't write. That they would just kind of like memorize their lyrics. So I always had a good memory. So I started doing that, and I literally would just play a beat over and over and build on top of it. Now, what I do most of the time is something similar, but it's kind of similar to how artists punch in the studio. I do like my reference tracks on BandLab. So I'll upload the beat on BandLab, put my headphones in, and I'll just kind of punch in on that, and that's me writing it. And so now when I go to record it, I have this pretty much written track that I can just always go back to this reference if I need it. And I hold nothing back. I let the beat speak to me, and I do my best to speak back to it. As far as like, that vulnerability, I think the first time even from my first EP, This Was All Unexpected, I gave you, vulnerability on things like Mainline Dreams and stuff like that. But Losses was a real big one where I just opened up, and I actually was in tears at Parallel recording it. I never wanted a song to be mixed, and like I just wanted him to turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Like I did not want to listen to that shit. But it's just me giving you how I'm feeling, is giving you life. You know what I'm saying? And how you said, you could tell I put a lot of real life shit into it. That's what I want. I want the listener to be able to be like, okay, I hear this, I can fuck with this, I vibe with this. The song No Sleep that me and you did, I actually commend you so much on that, because not only is the verse dope, but I sent you the verse, and at the time you weren't really hitting the studio like that. So I thought maybe you didn't like it, especially because I sent you a real rough mix. So I thought you wasn't liking the song. So I sent it to another artist, and they kind of mistook what I was saying. My first line on there is, I hope this pill ain't mixed with fentanyl. And that's just me saying that, I'm about to have a good time, but I know the climate of where we're at in today. And but he had just dealt with a loss dealing with fentanyl, and he said that he didn't want to do that record. And I explained to the artist that I'm not advocating for fentanyl, it's just the reality of what we live in. And then I get your verse. In your verse, you talk about losing somebody to fentanyl. And so that made me love it even so much more, because not only is the verse dope, the wordplay is crazy, the flow's insane, like the cadence is just like out this world. But just for you to be able to take that personal, the same personal issue that another artist didn't want to do the song, you took it, dropped it in there, you got to big up your people in it, and you get like honestly, bro, like you shitted on the song. Like when I heard it, you know, some artists will hear somebody's verse and be like, I'm about to redo my verse. I immediately was like, nah, this is the song. Like, I'm gonna leave this how it is because, like, yeah, my verse is what it is, but you bring something totally different to it. And honestly, man, I really wish a lot more people would pay more attention to that song because honestly, it shows like motherfucking EKM ain't nothing to fuck with. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
Nah, for real.
I appreciate it for sure. Yeah, that was a weird one to write because I wrote it pretty fast. But when you sent it, like you said, I was kind of in a weird situation where I wasn't really recording like that. I was moving around more on the WichitaPromo shit than I was rapping at the time. And you sent it, and I immediately fucked with it. But I knew I was like, man, I gotta really say some shit on this. This ain't no just like typical throwaway rap song. I gotta really talk. So yeah, that first bar resonated with me when you said, "I pray this pill ain't laced with fentanyl." Like I got to thinking about that because I've never been like a pill guy myself. I smoke weed. That's about it. But when I'm hanging around the homies all the time, you know, I got a lot of homies who do shit. And when I be around them, I be scared for them sometimes. I'm like, man, I love this dude. This is my homie. Like, I'd hate to see some shit happen. And I have lost people to fentanyl before. Yeah. I just lost a homegirl, Jules, about a week ago from fentanyl. So, you know, it's a real thing, man. So I related to that bar. I definitely took that one to heart, and it inspired a lot of my verse.
Yeah, I'm glad it did, because you
Yeah.
your verse.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Man, how do you think your music has, like, evolved since the beginning, since you were making it way back when you was, like, 14, 15, 16 type shit?
It definitely evolved. My voice and my flow is a lot different. One thing that is noticeable to people who've been with me is that I dumbed it down a lot. I used to really be heavy on punchlines and stuff like that, and I think maybe 2009, 2010 is when I started to tone down on punchlines. And in 2010, I had put out the All In mixtape. That's back when my stage name was D Rhymer. So I put out the All In mixtape, and that was like one of my favorite pieces of work for that time because that's when I felt like I was really capturing the essence of my life. I literally wrote that mixtape in my car. And every morning I would, you know, wake up and I maybe even pour me some vodka and cranberry or, you know, maybe some Henny and Coke. And I'm not even a heavy drinker like that, but every morning I would pour me up a little something. I would roll up and I would sit in my car smoking and drinking, listening to instrumental until my phone started going off for serves. And then I'd be out in traffic writing bars, you know, while I'm, you know, busting my moves. And now where I'm at, I feel like a lot of people hear my music and they don't hear the message. I feel like everybody only hears the gun talk, the bitches, the money, you know what I'm saying, the violence, but, you know, they don't hear the underlying tones in it. It's like, you know, you could take one of my lines and it sound like some street shit, and it's really just me being motivational and just using street talk to give it to you. So I definitely feel like message-wise, I've evolved because back in 2010, you know, I didn't really have a positive message. The goal was just to get on and, you know, get the fuck out the streets. But now I preach about ownership. I preach about manifestation. Just so much, you know, just turning your life around. And it sounds negative, but it's really positive.
Yeah. Nah, I feel that, man. I think it's interesting that you brought up the whole lyrics thing because I say all the time, I hate the term like golden era of hip hop. I hate that shit because in my personal opinion, and I'm 26 years old, I'm somewhat young, but I personally feel like hip hop's in the best place it's ever been in because don't get me wrong, there was amazing lyricists and shit back in the 90s and shit, but you still got that today. You still got the Boldy James and the Griseldas and the, you know what I'm saying, the Earl Sweatshirts and the Mikes, and like there's still these dudes that are top tier lyricists. And now you got this other shit where like you can also listen to the Playboy Cardis and the Young Thugs and shit. It's so versatile. Yeah. So in my personal opinion, I think hip hop's in the best space it's ever been in sonically. But I do think it's kind of weird how like in the mainstream, I do think lyrics are really ignored right now, because I kind of noticed that with myself. I started dropping, like I said, some personal records lately in the past, and some of them were written months ago and just nobody knew about it. But I would say some shit where, like, I have a song where I talk about, like, struggling with drug addiction, suicidal thoughts, like losing homies, this and that. And then I would share that song, putting it out, thinking like, oh man, this is gonna shake shit up. People would hit me up, be like, oh bro, that bar about the gun was hard. That song hard as fuck. And I'm like, I wasn't really going for hard. Like, that's not what I was really trying to do. But I mean, I appreciate it, I guess. But it really kind of showed me, like, damn, I can say damn near anything. They hear what they want to hear. We're kind of in a space right now where it's all tough shit, and that's what they want to hear, and everything else kind of gets ignored and like slipped over, which is weird.
I feel like
you there's definitely people who appreciate it. But you got to be like a real fan of it.
I feel like we're just kind of in a drill era, you know, where and it's been like that. That started in 2012, 2013 with the like Chief Keef and Dirk and them taking off, and you know, there was a time where hip hop was influenced by the street, and then there became a time where the streets was influenced by hip hop, and that was kind of like the late '90s, early 2000s. You know, like street niggas like started to, you know, idolize these rappers too much. And now we're in this like weird state where, like, if a nigga's talking about dropping bodies on a record, it's a high probability that he's actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're just in this state where it's like gang membership is at an all-time high, and it's all across the country. We just went to OKC, and you know, we had to keep our head on a swivel the whole time. You know, my affiliation is with the Rolling 60s, and some of the territory that we's in is technically what they consider enemy territory. Now, the Wichita section, you know, we don't have those same beefs, but they don't know that, and you know, they don't care. So drill music, I'm not gonna say it hurt hip hop. It's definitely hurting the youth though, because they're not having enough big homies or male role models to explain the difference between entertainment and crash out. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these niggas are just entertainers, and some of them are crash outs. You know what I'm saying? And some of them get put in situations where, perfect example, look at Dirk. You know what I'm saying? Look at Dirk and everything that he overcame, and everything that, you know, that he went out there and got, and where he was at in life now to be, you know, sitting there facing these charges. Like, that's crazy. When I was in Pollock, Louisiana, Pooh Shiesty had just, you know, like blew up, and that music was so hard to me, and like, he reminded me of early Gucci. And then next thing I know, he's on the yard with us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, niggas want to live what they're rapping, and there's consequences to it. And then the young boys who don't want to rap, they're just inspired by the music. All they know is Xanax, Percocet, Extendo. So it's a way of life. I do agree with you what you said about like the golden era, because everybody would have a different golden era if that was the case. So you know, there's people that didn't like, you know, Tupac and Big, and would say that, you know, Cool G rapping, you know what I'm saying, them guys were the best. I grew up on that 90s hip hop. I love Scarface, I love Pac, I love Big, but I also, you know, I was very young, so I transitioned into that early 2000s hip hop, and there's something for everybody. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he's fairly new. I think it's like Ali something, but he has bars. You know, he ends every verse with the rolling, but I'm talking about his wordplay is so ridiculous that it actually kind of inspired me, where I was like, you know what, I should drop a couple tracks just showing these niggas like I really got bars. You know what I'm saying? But I'm comfortable in my lane right now. I like making, you know, this Penthouse brand. It's something special to me. Like I said, there's a lot of messages in there. It's the medicine in the candy type thing. So hopefully people will be able to decipher it. And if they don't, and even if you just vibe out to it, that's cool with me.
Man, I don't think we touched on Fed Paper yet. We definitely got to do that. I know you got the shirt on.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about the process of that one, because I know that was like the you fresh out, you got straight to working, which I'd love to see, man. No, you wasted no time for real. I started seeing you all over the place immediately, and that was cool. And that's such a good project. I think my favorite tracks on there were Top Floor and City Lights. Is it?
City Lights.
Them two tracks go crazy. What was the process of Fed Paper like?
Yeah, so Fed Paper was the second project I put out. I was released February 28th.
Yeah.
On April 2nd, I dropped This Was All Unexpected, which was the EP, and then I followed it up June 8th with Fed Paper.
Yeah.
Fed Paper was actually a title that I had when I was in the joint that I knew I wanted to do a mixtape series called Fed Paper.
Yeah.
And so when I came home and got to work and got busy, that title jumped up. Like when I was thinking about what to name projects, that jumped up. The cover is funny because the picture of me on there is actually from my very first time meeting my PO. She had to get a picture of the tattoo on my face, so I just put that on there. But the process for that, man, was just honestly like I wanted to put together a body of work that was dope.
Yeah.
Especially being it my first full body of work, because like I said, This Was All Unexpected was just an EP, 6 songs. So with this, the writing process was very much the same. I made 10 of the 13 tracks. I produced 10 of the 13 tracks on there. So yeah, you know, it would just be literally making a beat. Sometimes I'd immediately start writing to the beat if I was feeling it. Sometimes I make a couple beats and then just go back. Shout out to Ivy. He did 3 of the tracks on there. And that was really me being at a session at Parallel.
Yeah.
The whole thing was recorded at Parallel. I was up there and Ivy was up there, and I just thought it was one of Christian's homeboys. You know, and I didn't take no offense to it. You know how it is in the studio. It's a vibe session. And I said something about production, and he was like, "You make beats?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he had his computer open. I'm like, "Would you make beats?" And he started playing me beats, and he started playing me some crazy shit. And I ended up grabbing like 6 beats from him. I used 3 on the project, which was Losses, Whole Vibe, and Deadly Bosses featuring Fetty. And yeah, man, so just making that project was special to me. And then it taught me a lot because I, you know, was doing all my own marketing, doing all my own promo, just like learning how to make these videos and seeing what worked, what stuck. And for me, it was special because the numbers reflected the work.
Yeah.
I ended up getting like over 50,000 streams on that project, and that's the last time I checked. It's been a while, but just when I can look at that and see like that's all me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I didn't, you know, there's no bots involved. There's not me paying anybody. That's all my work, all my grind, all my dedication, and I own 100% of it. So it's like for me, Fed Paper's forever my baby.
Yeah.
My goal is to drop Top Floor Chronicles 2 and Fed Paper 2 before the end of the year.
Okay.
That's my goal. Yeah. That's my goal. So, you know, be ready because I'm definitely hit you up for another feature, man.
Yeah. Man, how did you get into making beats? And I know you do your own camera work and all that type of shit too. Was it all like self-taught, or did anybody help you out with that?
So
beats is a process.
With production, I've played with it in the past when I was younger, and I was horrible. My relationship was so unique, was very like pivotal and like very, you know, important in this process because I met him at a time where he was already a dope producer, but I helped elevate him. Okay. He literally would bounce tracks off of me, and I, you know, tell him what I think about it. Yeah. And then it just got to the point where you know, you couldn't tell him nothing. He gonna play something and it's automatically just jaws on the floor. Yeah. I hate that we lost him because he was so talented. He was way beyond Wichita. Like he definitely could have made an impact in the industry. But he passed away in 2020. Yeah. And when I was in Pollock, they had a lot of smartphones floating around. I heard guys talking about, you know, they was using BandLab to record. So I started getting on there and playing around, and I started making beats on there. And actually, from my first project, This Was All Unexpected, the intro, which is What They Made Me, and another song on there called Scriptures, I actually made both those beats in prison.
Okay.
Yeah, I made those beats in the cell. And Mainline Dreams was the first beat that I made once I was released. Like me and my wife were on the highway. We was chopping it up a little bit, and I told her like, "Hey, well, I'm about to get to work," and I literally put my headphones in, and I made that beat, and I wrote the first verse to it that night. Just after a night of drinking and having fun and kicking it, and I was standing outside of the Marriott. So when I say in the intro, like nigga outside of the Marriott, like that's facts. I got video to prove it. But it became like a way to I don't know, man. It's just like a different way, like to build and express, like tapping into that music. I wish that I could get more artists to actually use my production, especially because I give a lot out for free to the ones who do use it. But for me, man, it's something that I work for. I keep grinding. I'm definitely tapped in with more producers now, but like even on Top Floor Chronicles. I got substantial production on there. I did Tell Travis. I did Share and Like, Blue Hearts. I produced The Pride, which is a song that's dedicated to my son. It got the Keith Sweat sample. Please don't sue me, because I definitely ain't get that clear. But man, homie, it's just a way for me to continue to express myself, and I love doing it. I'm actually looking to do like co-production. So I want to kind of start bringing some of the sounds I got to some of the more veteran producers and let them like bring it to life, make it pop. And then man, it's just another form of music. I love this music. I love this whole form that we do, from coming up with these lyrics to making these beats to being able to perform to even just tapping in with other artists and hearing their story, or bro, you came through for me when we did the No Sleep. It was easy. Just okay, cool. I booked the session, and you showed up. You did your thing. You stayed for the whole session, just kicking it. And I admire you a lot more than you know. I don't know, like, bro, you really mean a lot to me, just because I see what you do for the local artists, bro, and I see your grind. I see your dedication, bro. And from the very first time we linked up, bro, it's been nothing but love. I seen you perform at the Humble Greatness Showcase, you and Maj, and then you and Bay, and I'm like, man, this nigga's cold.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I remember watching you, bro. I remember like kind of like, you had the camera and whatnot, but I remember you just kind of like off to the sides, and I was like, like no smile, no emotion on your face or nothing. I'm like, what the fuck is dude on? And then you and Maj hit the stage, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, that was his game face, nigga. You mistook it.
Yeah, I'll be locked in at the shows, man.
Yeah, man.
Especially like I said, shout out to Humble, because his shows always go real good too. But I be so anxious at shows, man. It ain't my shit. I don't know what it is, bro. Crowds ain't for me. Like once I'm on the stage, everything's tuned out and I'm good. But it's that before, when I'm just chilling in here, I'm anxious than a motherfucker. But the show you threw up here, that was one of the first ones. I was vibing the whole time I was in here. It was just something about the environment. Everybody was really chilling. That shit was cool. But man, so we talked about the music, man. I'm gonna make sure I link everything below so everybody can find it real easy. You already say you got Top Floor Chronicles Volume 2 in the works, Fed Paper 2 in the works. I don't think I got too many more questions, but I like to end every podcast on the same thing, which is give some local shout outs. It could be anything from a restaurant, tattoos, clothes, music, anything at all.
Absolutely. So first, man, let me shout out Majesties Bar and Grill for giving me the chance and opportunity to give that platform to local artists. They all had a great time. They all loved it, and I'm sure that they'll all be back. Shout out to Majesties Bar and Grill. I want to shout out Maj True, who's currently serving some time. Homie, we love you. You know what I'm saying? Your music made an impact on us, and there's so many people around here that definitely got major love for you. Shout out to Fetty Chico, who's a close friend of mine. We go way back, but he's an artist that I think is incredible. He's dope. I want to shout out motherfucking Wichita hip hop promo, man. Like bro, like what you do for the town is amazing. It's crazy. Like, I'm not saying that nobody's doing that, but nobody does it on the level that you do. Like, how you said you literally started seeing me pop up everywhere when I came home. You actually played a part in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me to get on TikTok and see somebody has a video of my shit up there, and I didn't put it up, that was major. So, man, and then shout out my big homie, man, Sightzilla the God. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. He's a guy that is incredible with his lyrics.
Yeah.
His lyricism is bananas.
Yeah.
And man, the things that he says, the things that he does, I want to shout out Parallel because they recorded my first 2 projects. Christian is amazing with what he does, man. I always call him the white boy with the golden ears. I call him Music Jesus, man. He's an engineer Jesus. And I want to shout out Young C, because his studio mix down is definitely a dope spot to hang out, and we recorded over there. And my guy, 4 Times the Genius, man, who plays such a part what I do musically, man. He's always there to hold the camera for me. He's always there to give me advice. He's usually the very first person that hears my songs. He even hears them before they got a good mix, because I'd be so anxious for somebody to listen and tell me what they think. So that's what it is, man, and that's where we at with it. Top Floor Chronicles Volume 2 coming soon, Fed Paper 2 coming soon. And shit, we in this bitch, man. Me and EKM, man. Stop playing.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate you sitting down with me and having this talk, bro.
I appreciate you.
Man, shout out to Majesties again. Make sure y'all pull up to one of these events, get you some wings, have a good time. Appreciate y'all for watching.
Come get them wings.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'm gonna make sure I link everything below so it's easy to find.